Hey, it's Spanky, and you're listening to Rock Paper Podcast. Check out Spank On Ya, Thursday, February 27th at the Old Rock House.
Hey, everybody. Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast. Thanks for tuning in to a brand new episode. I want a couple things I want to tell you about. March 10th, I'll be back out at Naked Vine for my singer-songwriter storytelling showcase, bringing along Jonathan Brady, Haley Woolbright, and Vince Puzo. This is 7 o'clock start, $10 at the door. It'll get you in. And you get all three writers sitting on stools and a listening room experience, playing the songs acoustically, sharing the stories behind them. It's a lot of fun. Hope you can make it out there. Again, that's at Naked Vine in Chesterfield, Missouri, located on Clarkson Road. And if you haven't been out there yet, you're missing out. It's a really beautiful little hidden gem out there in Chesterfield, serving up all kinds of wine, whiskey, tequila, and local craft beers. You can stop by February 27th. Every Thursday night, they do a vinyl spin night out there. So come out, bring your own record, whatever you want to play, and share with everybody. So Vinny's Vinyl Spin on Thursdays. Friday, February 28th, Big Mike Aguirre and will be out there. And then on February 29th, Saturday night, Fine to Drive returns to the stage. You can find all this and more at nakedvine.net. Be sure to follow along on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Also want to say a quick shout out to Heil. They've been part of the show for a while now, and I've been loving this microphone. So check out heilsound.com today. Also, big thank you to Roughneck Beard Company and American Rambler for their support. They've been with me a while too now, and I've been really loving this beard oil I've been using. It's awesome. Makes the beard smell good and feel good and everything. So check out their products over there at Roughneck Beard Company. They have a shop located in Maplewood, Missouri, right off of Manchester. Or you can shop 24/7 at roughneckbeardcompany.com. You can enter my code RPP15 for an exclusive 15% off. And again, try their beard oil. They got beard balm. They got junk powder for your junk, and all sorts of other wonderful products over there for all your grooming needs. If you don't have a beard, tell your friends with beards. That's the place to be. With all that out of the way, I also want to remind everybody we have some new Rock Paper Podcast stocking caps in. We got ball caps. I got T-shirts, stickers, buttons, all sorts of goodies. If you'd be interested in any of these things, feel free to hit me up at rockpaperpodcast@gmail.com, and I would love to hear from you. If you have any questions or guest requests or anything, I'd just reach out, say, hey, let me know what you're listening to. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.
A podcast is kind of like it's like a radio show that's not on the radio. It's on the internet. Does that make sense? Uh-huh. Yeah. That's also like my mom. It makes it sound more confusing, doesn't it? It sounds like this.
Hey, we're Jesus Christ Supercar. You're listening to Rock Paper Podcast
with Shane Presley.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Scissors beat paper, paper covers rock. Rock beats scissors, Shane covers non-stop. Never know what new kind of guest that he's got coming at you. Live and direct on the spot. Could be rock, folk, country, or hip-hop, jazz. All kind of folks that he has. Could be an artist or a comedian to make you laugh on the
Rock Paper Podcast.
Double-decker fudge round, rolling round town. Shane coming at you live and direct from ground zero. He's your hero, he's your bestie. Rock Paper Podcast with Shane Presley.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Hey, everybody. Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast, coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri. Hanging out today with the guys of Jesus Christ Supercar. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah, man. This is I'm excited. This is
the big debut on the show.
true.
For this group. So, and 2 of the members have not been on the show yet. So this is very exciting stuff. So I
Very
guess,
pumped to finally get on.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we've been trying to put this together for what, like
I know.
6 months?
Too long, man. Too long.
Yeah. Well, I guess you guys want to go around the mic and introduce yourselves for everyone listening. And
Hello there. My name is Tom Blood. I play the drums in this band and a couple other bands. I don't normally speak in this accent, but I chose to for this moment. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Christopher. I play guitar.
Should I do something like squeaky or just stay right here?
I didn't mean to set a precedent.
Oh,
like that.
see, but that's what you did. So my name's Colin, and I play bass and synthesizer and big amplifiers, and I sing most of the songs in Jesus Christ Supercar.
all right. This is so like I said, I guess this is kind of a newer project still.
Yeah.
And so that's why we haven't really got this is haven't got to make it happen yet. But this is so that's what's cool about this and doing the show. I get to continually meet new bands and things, and so I guess kind of take me back to when this project got rolling, like how things came to how you 3 met and decided we should do this thing.
Well, so I moved back here from New Orleans about a little bit more than 2 years ago right now. I'd been living down there doing school and music and stuff like that. And so I came back and I was always in bands down there and I wanted to start something up here, like just desperately. And so, I don't know, I started writing demos and stuff in my basement and it was all just like bass and synthesizer stuff, just like a lot of fuzz pedals, just like with drum machines and things like that. And I talked to a couple people and I was trying to bug actually Christopher's brother Kevin, he plays with everybody damn near in this town. But he was trying to get him to hook me up with somebody. And then I forget, I was at some show at the Ready Room and I just suddenly realized, I'm like, wait, Tom Blood plays drums now. And so originally... It's true. And so... Because when we knew each other in high school, he was playing mostly like guitars and things like that. But
yeah. I think there was a point in high school, because we all knew each other in high school, which we'll, I'm sure, tap back into as well. But yeah, I think there was one point where you're like when you had the band with your brother Sam, he was like we had just a little jam together, like in like the living room or whatever. When you guys were looking for a new drummer.
Yeah.
I think that was right around when I started playing.
That's
too.
right.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so I hit up Tom. I walked outside of the show and I'd had a couple of beers and I'm like, I'm just gonna call him. I'm just gonna call him. and so I call him.
We were running into each other at like a show at the Ready Room.
Yeah,
or
something like that. Yeah. But so I call him up. I'm like, and I have no idea what he was doing that night. But I'm just like, Tom, I need you to play drums. We need to start a band. And so we talked about it a bunch. And originally I thought like, let's just do it as a 2-piece. Like, we can make this happen. It'll be cool. And we got hooked up with another friend of his, and this was in like May-ish of that year. So a few months after I'd been back, and I had all the demos, and that went well. It wasn't like a bad thing. But what ended up happening was that I was studying for the LSAT at that point, and I was like, I am going to not start a band until I'm done with this. And so I just kind of stepped back. And by the time that I kind of got back ready to go, he wasn't the third guy I wouldn't say wasn't interested, but he just had so much else on his plate too that we were going to go. Yeah. So Tom and I were talking, and before we even played anything together, he was just like, just call Christopher. Because Christopher and I go way back. We go back like 14 years. I was in his wedding. He was in my brother's wedding. He's in mine here coming up soon. And like, we, I didn't want to ask him because he's in so many bands already. And I'm like, I just don't think he has time. He's going to say no. And then so Tom just kind of badgered me about it. And so suddenly it just became a thing where he's like, if you don't send him the demos, I'm going to. And so Tom just sent him all the demos without even telling him what he was doing or me. He's just like, I'm just sending them all over to him.
Colin called me. He's like, hey, you want to do this? And I was like, what's the group called? And he goes, Jesus Christ Supercar. I was like, I'll do it.
Yeah. So that's kind of how. I mean, that was in like maybe July or early August, and we all just one Saturday, Tom came and met me. We loaded all of our stuff into my car, drove over to Belleville's, set it all up in the basement, and just
annoyed my neighbors.
Took two of my demos and kind of worked them out a little bit, and it was good. It was just like so that would have been late August of 2018, I guess, and so that was just. I guess that was when we got really started. We ended up getting like 6 songs together, and that whole day though, that first day, we sat there. We did the 2 songs a few times. They were like the sort of easier demos I had ready to go that were pretty simple, and we
I think they ended up actually being the 2 songs that we have released at this point.
Well, no, it was Not Dying. No, it was Not Dying and Eye for an Eye.
That's right.
And so,
Eye for an Eye definitely was.
Not Dying changed drastically from that first time we met up too. Like I still have that demo on I found it the other day on my computer. But it's so we did that, and we ended up really just sitting there for like 4 hours afterwards, drinking beers and just being just like, so what are we gonna do here? And just like planned out our entire existence effectively. I mean,
as much as we could.
That's really what we did.
It sounds kind of weird to hear, but it's true.
Yeah.
Like, we that day set so many expectations and goals for ourselves, and we said this is how we're going to operate.
Yeah,
it's cool to hear that, because I feel like that's sometimes what other bands are lacking. You got to even if it's something, huge goal, but set a goal for yourself. This is what we want to do. This is what we're going to do, and make it happen. And like have a checklist of what, sorts and stuff that would you have some sort of some bands are just for fun, but essentially a band's a business, and you want to have some sort of a business plan of what you're going to do with it and stuff. So, and
like on the business front, it was rad because when Colin moved up here, he pretty much had the brand of it planned out almost entirely.
Yeah. Had the logo already been designed at that point as well? Or
I think I did it when I moved back. Yeah. I think because I was living with my parents when I first moved back, and I was just bored. And my dad's an illustrator. I do graphic design as well. I was working in graphic design when I moved back here before I started school back up, and it was just kind of one of those things. I'm like, I got home and I was bored. I'm like, I'm gonna hook this up into the big monitor and just like mess with this. But it turned into I don't know. I created the whole brand before I even had bandmates. I'm just like, this is what we're gonna do. And I was note
to self: make the logo first.
Yeah. And I will not fight him for creative control. But we, it was one of those things. Like I just I had this idea. I'm like, we're gonna do this. I was in so many bands down in New Orleans and just all over. I mean, even in St. Louis before I moved away, I was in bands when I was 17, and it was. I don't know. I was a music industry studies major down there, and like I'm going to law school to work in entertainment law and things like that. I worked as a booking agent for a while, and a lot of it has just been the last like 10 years of my life is figuring out what not to do as a band. Like that was effectively what my major was in school. It was just like, hey, by the way, don't do this, do this. And so like one of the big things was difficult but attainable goals. And that's what we did that first day. We just sat down and we're like, all right, what are we going to do by the end of this year? And we did it.
And it being August, we're like, oh, we only have a couple of months to do this. What can we reasonably do? And the nice thing is, back to Colin creating the brand, I felt like that took a lot of the initial like work out of it for most beginning bands. There's always a discussion of what do we call ourselves? What is the logo? What is that? Colin had already done that, so it was like, all right, let's roll with it. Sure. Everything was rad already, so we were ready to like hit the ground running on the music front, which I think happened much more quickly than might be typical with other bands.
And I think there's another element to it too, where it's like just because, especially with you guys, with your like the types of rigs that you're running, the whole point was to have a very particular and individual tone from the get-go.
Oh yeah.
And I think that also, just that helps to define and then, constrain in some senses, but like also work within the like paradigm of the music that we're trying to make, like within that sonic territory.
Mm-hmm.
So.
One of the things we really did when we first started getting together was like I just kind of I had sort of created this idea of like fuzz disco, and I'm like, what are we going to call ourselves? Like, even not just as a genre determination, but like, what are we going to do that is really going to differentiate ourselves from what other people are doing? We don't want to be just the same old, alternative rock band that's around. And so one of the big things was, and I remember when we were writing some new songs a little bit ago, like, telling Tom, just like, all right, I know this is boring, but I want you to really stick with like the dance beats. I want you to make it,
Which I love.
Yeah.
I love simplicity in music.
that was a big thing for us. Is like, we're not going to go overboard. We're going to keep everything pretty simple. And the big thing is we want everybody to be able to dance to it. We don't want it to just be, this just. I don't mean to call rock masturbatory, but there is like, there's a level of, I was in one of those bands that did that it's like, you guys get what I'm saying,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's not bad. I love guitar music like that, but I wanted to set ourselves apart from that, because I didn't want it to be, I don't know what the right way to put it is, and I really don't want anybody to take offense to what I just said, because I've been in those bands that are like so much guitars and all that stuff, but I'm a pop like songwriter at heart.
I don't think there's anything wrong with appreciating everything else while also wanting to set yourself apart.
Right.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated that aspect of having a sound and tone in mind, because then that created opportunities for us all to explore sonically like what we sounded like. So it was fun. Like, you guys came over and you guys were like, why do you have these giant amps out? And then I was like, wait, why do you have 2 amps?
Yeah.
And we were like, are we going to do this? So yeah, we have more amps than people in the band.
It's my favorite band stat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 amps, 3
Yeah,
people.
so
If I,
only 2 people playing
on
guitars.
the
Right.
Jesus Christ Supercar, band baseball card, that's the main stat, it's the standout.
Holy crap. So we're talking like with this record coming out, like merch ideas, and we're gonna do these like pennants,
Ooh,
I think.
spitballing, I love it.
But we should do trading cards.
See, I think if we did if that were a more like, if we got like some collaboration on that,
just like a 4-pack
this is
of trading
this is a
cards.
shout out to any bands that are listening that want to put themselves on a trading card and cite your stats.
Should we?
we'll get Series 1 going real quick.
Should we ditch the jackets and get like old school baseball jerseys that just say Supercar and a script on the front?
Oh my God.
Yeah,
That's
instead
amazing.
of making endless car puns, we'll just make baseball jokes.
I mean, like, why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
That's
but-
amazing.
So spitballing off of that.
Spitballing
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah. Maybe I'll throw a knuckle this time. We
Make it stop. We gotta catch this before it gets out of control. All right, out. We're out.
okay. All
out of
right,
there.
we're done. Great.
We
and
knocked,
scene.
we knocked that one out of the park.
But no, we just I don't know, man. We took a bunch of amps and a bunch of fuzz pedals, and we're just like, instead of making songs that are just really fast and loud, we're gonna make songs that are actually pretty mid-tempo and loud. Right?
I mean, one of our biggest things was we want people to be able to dance. We want people to not be able to dance. You know what I'm saying? Like, we wanted people to move and groove to our tunes.
Yeah. I remember one of the other things we specifically stated was to not be afraid of the ooze. Not like ooze, OOZE, but like radioactive ooze that would turn you into a mutant Ninja Turtle. But in fact, the ooze, as in like ooh, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was. Just the songwriting itself was just like, we're going to keep everything as simple as possible. And it's not necessarily, I don't feel like we're putting ourselves in a box like that we can't stray from, but I feel like we are putting ourselves in a place where it's like, we're going to write this type of song.
Right.
And it's not saying that we don't want to, I don't know.
Well, it reminds me
help
of
me finish
this,
the sentence.
in like, like I know David Byrne has said before, like when he was talking about like how when like Talking Heads was getting started, they set rules for themselves. Like one of their rules was no 2 instruments are going to play the same part ever. So that's always a part of the music.
We do like the exact
Yeah.
opposite.
Right.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's whatever serves the purpose of the sound, and but having to kind of go back on the idea of like the boundaries or the constraints, like just knowing what you have and being able to operate inside of those,
Right.
that's one of the things that I really appreciate about this band too, is that when we get together to like do original things, we're working off of that paradigm of having a certain sound and just like I think any band does, and it's it's always a blast and I feel like the process just gets like more and more refined as time goes on.
So we got a cat situation here.
we're scooping a feline out of the laps of Shane.
Yeah, for those who are listening, Colin's cat is walking all over us.
She's annoying.
I was going to ask about the name though, like where Colin, how did you end up deciding that was the band name?
So when I was doing, just stop harassing us, stage. Go somewhere else. When I was delivering sandwiches on my bike for Jimmy John's, a friend of mine who ended up actually becoming the drummer of my old band, he and I got together, and we were just having a drink post shift and just joking about band names. And I don't know if Jesus Christ Superstar was in town or something like that, but he and I were talking about sort of doing what I wanted to do with Tom, is like starting another band and doing like a 2-piece kind of deal. And we were like coming up with names, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ Supercar. And I held on to, he and I straight up, we would text each other just those 3 words every so often, just out of nowhere. Just like, we have to start this band, like we have to do this. And I think originally we were going to try to make it more of like a Tame Impala vibe. He's really into psych stuff and that kind of thing. But I don't know. It just kind of turned into like, I never used it. And so when I moved back up here, it was between that or Sedan Morrison. It was going to be one of those two. It's like Van Morrison, but it's a little bit shorter. It's got 4 doors, better gas mileage. I mean, still a good family car, but but I thought the Jesus Christ Supercar was a little bit more with what we wanted to do. I thought that we are so goofy, like on stage, and we just kind of created this whole ethos where it's just like, all right, nobody knows if everything we do is a joke or if nothing is.
Right.
Like, and that's really what we're going for, is like, sometimes I don't know if we even know if it's a joke or if it's not, but
it was great because we played the RFT showcase last year, and somebody like mentioned us in a write-up after everything, and they walked in and were like, I couldn't tell if they were taking themselves seriously or not seriously at all.
And I think
I love that.
I don't think that we know the answer to that question.
Right.
Like, I really don't.
I think we know that we want to have fun, though, no matter what.
That's what it comes down to.
And there are lots of different ways to go about doing
Having
that.
a good time.
I just
all
hope
the time.
both teams have fun. But it really is. It's like, I don't know what the answer to that question is. I don't know if we're taking ourselves seriously or not.
We walked the line perfectly.
What is? I'm trying to think of what there was some. It was, oh man, I can't. Oh, it was in South Park, the Sarcastaball episode, where suddenly he's just Randy's being so sarcastic all the time, and she's just like, I can't tell if you can even stop being sarcastic. And he's like, help me, Sharon. like, that's exactly it for us. It's just like, we've gotten so into this sort of ethos of this band that I just don't even know anymore. But all I know is that we have a good time. Like, we write what I think are pretty cool songs, what we think are pretty cool songs, and we have fun at our shows, and we wear stonewashed denim jackets and sunglasses all the time. So,
What have you received any kind of backlash about the name at all, or anything like that?
From a different generation, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the first thing. Because like even like so good friends of mine, obviously, Funky Butt Brass Band. Even them, they get trouble over their name sometimes, and I'm like, because it has button, and I'm like, really get over it, people. Like,
right.
It's like, but I just I figure if you put a name like this, like people. This is definitely going to be a generation that might not appreciate it as much.
It it's really funny. I wouldn't say we necessarily get backlash from anybody. I think that it's more like people sort of assume we're going to get sued, which isn't going to happen. But, I think the big thing really is we specifically, again, when we started that whole meeting, we're like, we're not going to take this too far. Right. Like, it's in the name. It's a pun on a play. We don't make fun of religion or anything like that. It's just a pun on a band or on a musical. Andrew Lloyd Webber represent. But it's
Shout out.
You're my boy.
Yeah.
He's a big fan.
But we, it was never really. And, it's funny because like. The record we're putting out this year is called Post Madonna, and we realized it was a play on pre-Madonna, but then we realized
the Madonna.
They call Mary the Madonna. Is that bad? And
No, we're talking about Lady Madonna.
Yeah,
Right.
so it's kind of we try to avoid those the jackets we wear. Originally, I was like, yeah, let's put upside down crosses on the back, and then I'm like, let's not do that.
Right. Then we were also like, we're gonna wear all white. Oh wait,
no,
that's a little too like Southern Baptist minister.
Yeah. So it was. So it's one of those things. Like we're actually very conscious of sort of making sure that we're not making fun of.
Right. We don't want to be disrespectful.
Well, I don't think disrespectful is the right word because I'm all about disrespect. But I think the right word is just like, I don't know. It's a fun band name. It's a cool band name. It's playful, and it's not intended to be controversial.
It's cheeky.
Yep.
What's that?
It's cheeky.
Yeah, it's cheeky. It's
Plus,
not,
as Ram Dass would say, my homeboy Ram Dass, it's like pick your favorite holy man. It's like I'll pick Jesus as a holy man. That's cool. It's I'm cool with that.
I just it's like I think that's the right way to put it though. It's just we're not trying. It was never intended to be controversial anyway. Honestly, nobody's really ever approached us that way about it. The only thing that we run into is that sometimes, and this just happened on Instagram the other day, someone meant to tag Jesus Christ Superstar and tagged us, and so we got some very random Instagram story mention of some women in Michigan,
or we'll get like a like from Reverend so and so.
Yeah, because they're just
those
not
are my favorite.
Right, it's like oops, but all right.
Yeah, so
Thanks for the support.
My grandpa, I remember last year, he's very supportive, and he shared a post of ours because he was coming to the show or whatever, which I just love that my 83-year-old grandpa comes to our shows sometimes, but he shared it, and one of his friends commented, "Oh, we just love Jesus Christ Superstar," and I'm just like, "But what about Jesus Christ Supercar?" And she's just like, "Huh?" Like,
yeah,
she just didn't read it at all. but it's actually a little surprising to me. I did figure we would get maybe like someone being like, "That's a bad name," but pretty much everybody thinks it's pretty funny.
Yeah, more often than not, people are like, "Dude, what's your band called?" So Jesus Christ Supercar, and they're like, Jesus Christ Supercar, and they're like, that's so cool.
Yeah. So
yeah. Well, you guys mentioned the record release, and let's get some music out there. Let everybody hear what you guys have been up to. If anybody doesn't know Jesus Christ Supercar yet, they're going to find out. And we have 2 singles currently available out there for your download and listening needs, and you guys released the first one. The debut single was Self-Destruct, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's talk about this tune.
Sure.
Anything you want to add around Self-Destruct?
Well, we recorded this one at the Jesus Christ Super Cabin.
Oh, that's another great thing. I'm going to butt in really fast. We do this all the time. We've found that calling something the Jesus Christ Super Blank is just a really great thing. So we recorded at the Jesus Christ Super Cabin. We wear the Jesus Christ Super jackets. We have the Jesus Christ Super playlist.
Hey,
it's a Jesus Christ Super fun time.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's all about branding, guys.
But so we recorded this one at the Jesus Christ Super Cabin. It was rad. We spent 3.5 days down at a cabin. We brought an entire recording rig with us, and we recorded all of our demos. Then these 2 were in the best shape, so we sent them over to Jettison Studios. Dan Merriman mixed and mastered it for us. Then he shot it back, and it's what you hear now.
drinks and then I'll sit and stare and scream and chill. Yeah, so neither one of those are going to be on the record that's coming out.
Okay.
But those were two of the songs that we that I demoed when we were putting that all together. Self-Destruct I actually wrote with my brother many years ago. I guess this was even 3 years before we recorded it. It was a lot different version back then. This one's a lot more. We took it and made it us. So that was just fun. It's got a cool riff and a lot of fuzz. But yeah, and then yeah, is that the only one we're talking about right now? You want me to talk about Eye for an Eye too?
Yeah, I mean we can do we can get into Eye for an Eye.
I don't even know.
Let's keep with that one, and then let's talk about some of these shows we do have coming up. You people can come out and see Jesus Christ Supercar live. We have February 27th at the Schlafly Tap Room with our friends in Ivy and North by North.
It's a free show.
It is a free show.
Yep.
North by North are some friends. Again, this goes way back. I used to play with them when I was in New Orleans, but they and then Christopher is kind of their contact in St. Louis. But they are a really cool band out of Chicago. But I hate to say they're out of Chicago. That's where they're from, but they're on the road like 250 or 300 days of the year. They play so many shows and they do all this cool stuff. They just put out a new record. It's called Get Weird. We listened to the... Oh, I don't know if the record's actually come out yet, but we listened to the song the other day, and it was
the single that came out. Yeah,
it was like, I mean, they are sweet people and a great band. And we played with them once about this time last year, about the same time last year, over at Off Broadway, and they're just good people. They write good songs. I haven't seen OIV yet. I know that they're finishing up a record too. That new song is what it's called. Be All Right. Is that what it's called?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember.
I think that's what it is. But Kat and Corey and everybody else over in OIV are just like very sweet people, and I'm stoked to play with them. That's going to be a really cool show. It's going to be a really fun time. I don't know how we're going to fit all of our amps on the stage at the tap room.
We'll probably be standing on our own amps.
Yeah, we're going to figure it out. But yeah, so that one's coming up. That one's going to be really neat. And I mean, there's beer there, so naturally.
And food.
And food, yes. Mhm.
Well, what more you need?
You don't need anything else, actually.
But March 27th, you guys will be returning to the Ready Room to perform with Montreal and Locate S1.
Yeah.
So that'd be a big show for sure.
That's going to be awesome.
It's going to be so sweet. I'll let you guys talk about that one a little bit. You guys know of Montreal better than I do.
Yeah, it's funny. I've texted a few buddies about, hey, we're opening for Of Montreal, and then a bunch of my buddies are like, that's my high school dream. Like I've been a huge fan of Montreal for such a long time.
for just years on years.
And
it was get it out now before I don't want you to do this on stage.
Right, exactly, yeah. I just love you guys so much. I'm just so honored to be here.
Kevin Barnes. Thank you, Kevin Barnes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin Barnes.
We love you so much. But yeah, it was.
I don't know how you do it. I just don't know how.
It was pretty cool. Like we threw our name into the hat for this one, and we didn't expect to get it, honestly.
I will say, Corey Weaver willed this into existence.
Yeah,
because we told our buddy who does Bands Through Town, the magazine, and I went to go see Fandagram with him, and he told a bunch of people that we had thrown our. All I told him was, "Oh yeah, we submitted to open for Of Montreal," and he told all these people they're opening for Of Montreal. I'm like, dude, this is like
this has not been established yet.
Do not.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, and so but he willed it into existence.
Yeah, and it was funny. Colin texted, it was like, "Hey, we got it." The way you texted it was so like, by the way, and it was like I was driving in the car and I was like.
I had a bodily reaction. I was
like,
whoa.
So, but it's going to be a really cool show. We love the Ready Room. They are so awesome over there.
Yeah.
Our first show was there with Broncho and Sleepy Kitty's. That was Sleepy Kitty's first show in like 2 years or something or a year or something like that. But they that was a great show too. We have a really good relationship with that room, and it's just such a great place to play.
Yeah.
They really. Their sound guy really nails like our.
He knows us. Yeah,
he gets it. So it's fun, man. That whole Of Montreal show thing. It's just gonna be nuts. It's a Friday, which is great. So
yeah. I'm excited that we have some new music too that we're gonna probably be playing at that show as well.
We'll definitely be playing it.
Yeah. That's I don't know, man. I've got to meet a handful of people that I grew up admiring in high school and stuff, and just getting a chance to hang with them for a minute or whatever, and like such a wild thing when you like it comes full circle. You're like, I talk about him a lot, but like a guy like Steve Ewing, who the Urge was a huge deal to me as when I going through school and stuff, and then like now that me and Steve are buddies, like it blows my mind. It's a weird
That's
thing.
so cool.
Weird thing to comprehend for me, but it's really cool. But
I'm that way about Donnie Fandango. I suddenly became friends with Donnie Fandango when I moved back up to St. Louis, and I remember listening to him every day on my way to school when I was in high school, 10 years ago. So no, I totally get it. That's awesome.
Man.
Same thing. We opened for Dinosaur Pileup a little while ago, back in August, and I have loved that band for like 6 years. And that was a good one. That was a little bit more for me. What happened with them with Of Montreal?
Yeah.
When we got that email, I'm like, oh
my god.
They're coming back on Point Fest.
Yeah, they are.
Yep.
It's true. So that'll be cool. I might try to get out there for that. We'll see.
Shout out to Donnie and
Point
putting that on. So, and then we want to get into this one then the next big one.
Oh yeah. So our
the big one.
The THE, all capitals, big one. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, so in May of this year, shortly, or right around the time of Colin's wedding here.
Yikes.
Same month, same within 7 days of your wedding.
month.
We are having our album release, or EP release rather. We've been recording 4 of our tunes over at Native Sounds with Ben Mazak. We've been working on that for a couple months now. A couple months we've been kind of in and out of the
We've been
studio.
working on it since April.
What?
It's been almost a year.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, I'm like, I feel like we've been in and out of there.
Yeah.
Every day for a year.
Yeah, it's been a great time.
If only.
Been a great time getting that together. Ben's really nailed our sound, so we're in the finish line is in sight. We've got everything's kind of in the pre-mix and master, like current mix pre-master stage.
Yeah.
So we have our EP release scheduled for
Saturday, May 16th.
Thank you. I was going to say the wrong day.
It's okay. The EP itself is going to come out on Friday, May 15th. But same day, I didn't need to put weird emphasis on it like that. Friday, May 15th, the record's going to come out. And then, Saturday, May 16th, we are at Alpha Brewing Company.
In the barrel room.
In the barrel room. So we did some photos there once, and there's some other things that I don't think we are privileged to talk about right now.
All the fine details of the event will be revealed in due time.
Yeah, but I can tell you who we're playing with.
Yes.
That's going to be the Free Years, who are some close buddies of ours. I'm actually
some of the best people on this planet.
I'm actually doing all of their design work right now, which is cool. I'm helping in the art direction for them. And then Sister Wizzard, who is St. Louis's favorite daughter and total dreamboat and writes incredible songs. She's also playing with us. And then none other than, and to bring him kind of back
into the convo
circle,
here.
Donnie Fandago is going to be spinning records between all the sets and everything too. So it's going to be a really good time. There will be some very interesting surprises. And like Christopher said, there's some details that will be coming out a little bit later about the finer details of that show. But there's going to be some extra stuff that happens that night too.
And Donnie's he's been a pretty big supporter of you guys, right? He's been playing some stuff playing on his show and stuff.
Yeah, it's really funny when I first moved back up here and I told him before I had a band, I told him what the band name was going to be. He's like, "That's the coolest band name I've ever heard." And so he played us on the Point a couple of times. Last year we played 3 actually of the Point New Music showcases down at the Duck Room. Right. One was with the Bluestones, who are actually playing in town tonight. I have tickets to it. I may go to it. But they one was with them. That was our second show ever, and then we played with the Dirty Nil a month later, which that band also rules.
Also a good time.
Definitely.
And then we played with Dinosaur Pileup, who I brought up already too, which was also in the Duck Room, and they that's more. I wouldn't really necessarily say we have a relationship with the Point. Donnie doesn't really have input on the openers for that. That's really kind of just having a good relationship with the Duck Room.
Right.
But Donnie has been
for his own show though. He's been playing, right?
Yeah. But Donnie's show on the Point, he's played us a few times, and he is a very cool friend to have. Yeah. And just to, I used to work in the music industry, and I hope to work in there again when I'm done with school. But it's really cool when you have these friends in the industry who actually genuinely are a supporter of your band. They're not just kind of like yanking your chain and doing you a favor. He has been a wealth of knowledge for St. Louis, which is cool. But so Tom and I asked him because we wanted a DJ for our show, and we were hanging out at Art of Live when we played that a couple weeks ago, and we're like, oh man, maybe we should get like
some radio DJ.
Yeah, some like radio DJ. And then both of us are like, wait, why don't I just text Donnie?
DJ Donnie Fandango?
Yeah, and I just kind of figured that he would be like, oh man, I wish I could. And then he texted me back like almost immediately, I would love that. So cool. Like, all right, sweet. You're going to be a part of this now. So that was kind of like the icing on the cake. We're feeling like it's going to be a really cool thing. Back to May 16th. The record itself is called Post Madonna. And it's just going to be a good time. We finished up the tracking on it last weekend, and it's all coming together. It's a really neat record. It's a fun record.
So we are only doing digital release. We don't have any physical copies because we're poor.
We are poor. Help me, I'm poor.
At some point, we hope to have something out on vinyl, but that's kind of further down the road. But yeah, so it'll be available on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Amazon, all those. Any place you probably want to get music, it'll be available there.
Yeah. So it'll be all over. We'll probably do some like special download cards or something to have, but it's not we haven't figured that out yet.
And we'll probably release a single beforehand, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, let's drop in Eye for an Eye. We've talked about it a little bit, but this was I guess your most current single out there, but until we get these new tracks out ready to go.
Yeah, that came out in April. It sucks because we have a few other demos that we did, and we wanted to get more of these songs out, but we just kind of, once we started doing the new record, we just didn't really want to do it. We didn't
want to mix quality too, because part of them they were recorded kind of at the cabin at like a demo level.
Yeah.
And then recording at Native, I mean, nothing we could have done on our own would have held a candle to anything that we've got over at Native. So we didn't want to mix quality of recording with it as well. So we stuck with the two singles from our first batch that sounded the best, and then everything since then's been over at Native.
But yeah, so Eye for an Eye is so when we play shows, I have a whole splitter on my rig, and my synthesizer and bass go through all the same pedals and everything. So this is one where live I kind of switch back and forth between the synth and bass, but it's a it's a big kind of bouncing pop song. It's a little long.
It's a lot of long.
Yeah. We have this problem where we write songs that are too long. I've never been in a band that writes songs that are too long.
We're getting better at it, though.
We are getting better. but it's a
let it ride is my opinion.
You know, I came up. I saw this guy once that I knew down in New Orleans, and he had a knuckle tattoo that was I for an I, and I'm like, that's very interesting. I think I want to write a song about that, and so I did. And it's not really it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's just a really fun kind of. I don't want to call it synth pop.
What does make sense these days?
I don't want to call it synth pop just because there's a synth bass on it, but it's just a fun kind of tune. The thing I love about doing the synthesizer and the bass is that I've sort of created this rig where they both have very similar tones to each other, but they are. You can do so much different stuff on a keyboard than you can on a bass. And so being able to kind of have the same tone and the same almost timbre, but different capabilities makes it helps with songwriting. Like it helps to be able to try different things out with it, you know? So
plus this is the only synth song that features a marked shift in the song as well, where like you're going from the synth rig to the bass.
Oh yeah. I do flip halfway through.
And that happens live too, which is always a good time.
Yeah, I busted one of my guitar straps doing it. But it's good.
One quick thing to note, if you like what you hear, if you are searching for this song, the song is called Eye for an Eye. You need to type in the letter I, the number 4, the number N, the letter I.
This episode is brought to you by the number N.
And Hooked on Phonics.
Yeah. But it might be better. We probably should have thought of that when we released it. Somebody also called us out one time because they thought it was a joke about INRI, like the thing on Jesus' cross, and that was not intentional at all.
You know, I didn't even think of that until just now.
Yeah.
You know, when you spelled it out, I was like, oh my gosh, I had seen that for years on years.
never, ever
you know,
thought of that.
above like the corpse of Jesus.
It's
you know?
so
It's funny
irreverent.
because I did not intend that, and I literally just told you guys about how, like, the whole joke was do not do things that are irreverent.
We're not doing so well on that.
Yeah,
you know?
no, we are not.
Hey, you know, you're allowed to take it however you feel like you want to take it. You know, if it's upsetting to you, that's fine. If you think it's a little bit funny, that's great. You know, or you know, you could feel nothing, and you know what? You probably feel that way already. So
That's my entire life. How did you know? I feel nothing.
But anyway, here's a cool
My life is a
song.
lie.
Yep.
yeah, depression jokes.
There you go.
Thought of that one.
Well, you can get involved with Jesus Christ Supercar on your Facebook and Instagram. You can keep an eye out for more of those details coming along with the release party and everything else, and more shows and things. But yeah, snag them tickets for that of Montreal. Or is there some still available?
Yeah, they're still available. I would recommend getting tickets
Yeah,
for it.
'cause that's gonna-
That one is. I don't want to say it's going to sell out because then it won't, but I do think that you should get tickets in advance. First off, because they're cheaper, and then second, it's just you don't want to run that risk if you want to go there. That is a big deal. That show.
It's going to be a good time.
Yep.
So, and the Ready Room's small.
But yeah, man, I'm excited though. Like I said, especially just to kind of hear the growth and the progression of, especially moving into a proper studio and getting to see what you guys can do with Ben and stuff. So I'm excited to hear some of these new tunes coming out. What I've been doing on some of these shows, I've been having fun with answering some goofy questions. So if you guys want to play along,
We are
Goofy questions,
Yeah.
serious answers.
right.
I know you have a little bit of a beef with Matt F. Bosler's podcast,
Who?
but nice. He played a really great game with us too. We love these sorts of things, so
Hit us.
do it.
I'm in all sincerity, I'm a big fan of Matt. He's a lot of fun.
I feel like we
Shout out to Travis, by the way. You know, Matt, if you're listening, you know what we're talking about.
when we went on his podcast, we had a drink across the street first, and we just
There seems to be some kind of trend here.
but we were talking before we went up there, and we're like, all right, guys, all three of us are going to do this very deadpan the entire time. Pretend you're on NPR. Hi, yes, my name is Colin McCabe. I am in Jesus Christ Supercar. This is All Things Considered for Saturday, February 8th, 2020. But yeah, we had a great time with Matt too. But yeah, so let's go. I want to hear what these
right.
are.
Let's start with, is there so not all these are silly, but is there a dream duet or collaboration for the band? And you guys can answer as an individual artist or as the band together.
I mean, my answer, if I could collaborate with anyone, it would be Beck, hands down.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I dig that. I'm going to give you two answers. One is realistic, and that's we're trying to work something out with the Free Years for our album release show that's going to be kind of a surprise other than what I'm going to say about that right now. But then the dream, man, I don't know. I would have to say maybe Beck or Mini Mansions, this band Mini Mansions that we love. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. What do you think, Tom?
Oh gosh, I mean, I was thinking more along, the individual lines. So, because with this band, it's like we got to fit it into a particular thing. But if we could, maybe get like the same type of engineers who like remixed the Death from Above tunes, like that would.
Oh, that would be
a cool move.
get like Mastercraft to do
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
What's funny is that JFK from Death from Above is in Mastercraft. Like that's him. That would be pretty sweet. He does actually do mastering and stuff. We could hit him up.
Maybe next time.
We can't afford him.
Yeah. What you guys mentioned, Beck? What's I go like Odelay is like one of my favorite records. Like that's where I guess that was where I first got introduced. Was that record way back in the day? But you guys, is that kind of your era, or are you guys coming from another album?
See, I really took the plunge into Beck right at the Information, which I think was like
It was 08.
It was 07, 08,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I really took the plunge. But I mean, I am a big advocate for everything he's pretty much ever done.
Yeah. I remember when I was a kid, my dad had a Volkswagen Super Beetle, and it had a modified stereo so we could play CDs in it. And the only CD that we ever had, it was a 71, like Volkswagen Super Beetle's amazing, but the only CD we ever had in it was Odelay, and that's what really got me into Beck.
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually funny that you ask us this question, because Christopher and I were just talking to my brother this morning about how The Information may be like my favorite Beck record, because it's got this sort of melancholy feel to it that you have from Sea Change and Morning Phase, and even like some One Foot in the Grave level, but then it's still got all these electronic elements.
The techno randomness.
Yeah,
You get this like modern guilt kind of mutations aspect. Like I feel like The Information's like the best.
The Information,
of all worlds.
I think, is just the culmination of what Beck wanted to write, and he was writing it with Nigel Godrich for years.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they started putting that record together in like '99, and it came out in 08. Like, so it was just. It's funny because I remember Wero came out like a year and a half before. And then suddenly The Information got released, and I think I was like 16.
Right.
And my mom shows up at my house. She's like, "Hey, I was down in the Loop, and this new Beck record came out, and like it had all the stickers and all that kind of thing." And I love that album.
Gotta love the create your own album
Yeah.
art
You know,
as
he got
the interactive element. With
he got
that, too.
disqualified from Billboard because of that.
Yep.
They said it was cheating because people would buy it just for the stickers.
Oh wow!
So they disqualified him from Billboard.
That's crap.
Sorry, I wanted him to stop.
Also, I think it didn't qualify. He couldn't have won best album artwork either. I think they disqualified him.
No,
from
he
that.
actually got because they do the best packaging. I think he actually did win
the
for it.
packaging, yes, but I think like on album cover alone, I think he was kind of gypped out of that too.
But anyway, they no, Beck is a huge influence of mine. It's and I say he's a huge influence of mine, but I could never write a song half as good as he could.
Well, it's funny. That was one of the like way back in the day. That was one of the first things that brought you and I together. Actually,
Oh yeah,
he and Colin and his twin brother invited me to go hang out with him some weekend, and his dad was like, "You have any CDs you want to pop in the car?" And I pulled out a mix CD that had like 3 Beck songs, 3 Eagles of Death Metal songs, and then like I don't know, just some other random crap.
it's like 4 of my dad's favorite bands on this. So my dad loves Christopher
I know,
now
and-
too.
Yeah, but like, well, it was funny because your dad was like, "Hey, Christo's kind of cool." Like he said that in front of all of us, like to my face. Like,
Yeah.
oh, right on.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jerry.
Yeah, cool. But yeah,
I got a quick story.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mixie, it's like it's kind of a lost thing now. Everybody just makes
Right.
Spotify playlists and whatever. So, but I was of that era too, and I had these giant CD binder full of mix
Yeah.
CDs and things, and I've told the story on here before, but it's funny. But they so somebody swiped my CD, my binder, and at like a football game or whatever it was, and so like fast forward, I'm walking on the other side of town and just happen to see a CD face down, and I pick it up and it says Shane's Mix on it. And
No way.
And I laugh really hard, and I'm like, I just imagine somebody's driving through town, like listening to my CD, like, no, this sucks. So
Didn't make the cut.
yeah. So yeah, somebody didn't appreciate my my mix and stuff, but yeah, I'm glad Colin's dad thought you were cool though.
Yeah. It worked out.
we think my dad's cool too. He looks
Yeah.
like Tom. He looks like Tom Selleck.
He is Tom Selleck.
Yeah. There's this. So he works in graphic design and illustration, and somebody made him a calendar one year that they perfectly photoshopped my dad's head on all these pictures of Tom Selleck. And I remember having it. It was so great.
I want that.
But yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to collaborate with Beck.
Yeah.
And Tom Selleck.
So if you know,
We should cover the Hawaii Five. Or no, that's not Tom Selleck. He's Magnum PI.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
bad.
Is there a movie or TV show you guys wish you were in?
Touched by an Angel.
I've been waiting for this one.
What? Don't judge.
Now, would you be like just joining the cast or replacing someone?
Joining as an angel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
I'd be the one doing the touching. Maybe need to read.
If my UK visa would work out, I'd love to get on the next season of Love Island. Bring it on, yo. Yeah, that's what's up.
That actually, you really do need to do that. We should make a submission tape for you.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think we should. I think we should look into it. You know, it's worthwhile. You know, it's wholesome content.
I think
Coming up with all kinds of great ideas on this podcast.
See, I'm trying to think of something clever or funny, really, but honestly, like, I think that it would be fun to be animated into something
Like BoJack?
like BoJack or
Yeah.
Futurama or something. I love animation, and yeah, I think that it would be great to be in BoJack. There's
That'd
just
be
lots
cool.
of funny puns that are there.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
This one goes out to Larry David. If you want to have me as an extra on Curb Your Enthusiasm at any point, I will do whatever random social interaction that causes a future problem later down the line that you want me to do. I will be there to cause that problem and have you navigate around my demands. Yeah.
That actually does remind me. I actually was on TV once.
Oh yeah.
Because I was in the coffee shop that I managed was the coffee shop in Scream Queens a number of years ago, and so they needed us around to work the machines, and so they let us be extras. So I got to trip the one girl. I don't even remember what her name is now, but like I met Nick Jonas, who is obviously my idol. I love him so
Hey,
much.
my name is Jonas.
Yeah. Carrying the world over there. But we, I don't know. I was on TV once, but I was a barista with a bad attitude who had to clean up the coffee shop.
So you were typecast.
I was typecast. It's the stupid sideburns. I gotta get rid of them.
The answer is to bring back the mustache. The mustache makes you like more versatile.
Tom, you just have to understand, like, as a law student, like, the mustache looks not good. Like, I mean, it's fun.
But on a billboard,
depending on the
it would
county.
look great.
I bring it back for finals so that I can, like, do this during final. Like, for those of you at home, I'm rubbing my fingers across my upper lip because I need something to twiddle
Sensually.
with while I read. Sensually, yes. But I just can't. It's one of those things, like, because it comes in so blonde, it looks very unprofessional.
Hey
and
man,
I can't do it.
like read it and weep is what I say. I've been stuck
Tom.
with a blonde stash. I feel it.
You are blonde, one, and two, you do.
I'd say I'm more of a brunette, just a little bit more of a brunette.
Okay, are we getting into this now?
Yeah,
Is that what
yeah.
we're
So you feel like
these
you're
are
more
these are
brown and more
the
blonde.
infighting that we have as a band. It's like, no, I think you're absolutely more of a brunette. Christo, you got a little strawberry blonde action going on.
It's true.
Yeah.
Do any of you do celebrity
Drugs?
impressions?
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Oh gosh, what do you want? I got tons. Like
For the
just,
rec-
like
For the record, I don't do drugs now. But sorry, I thought that's where you were going. With
oh yeah, I thought you were. I thought
Yeah.
I was saying that I have tons of drugs right now.
Oh, yeah.
But so that's where I get my celebrity impressions from.
Hold on. Maybe edit this part out. So ask
Well,
the question again.
I think that would be like a little bit different if like I actually had drugs because I don't. But like
We're
what
currently
are we thinking? Now?
impersonating Tom Cruise. This is what he's talking about right now.
Guys, I don't no. I was thinking maybe just a classic. I need more cowbell.
That's awesome.
Just get a little.
Do you have a fever?
Got a fever, and the only prescription to that fever is I need more cowbell.
That's Tom Selleck, right?
Yeah, that was my best Leslie Nielsen.
I'll put my pants on one leg at a time, just like you guys.
That's a pretty good walking impression, though. That's pretty good.
It's all right. It was all right.
I don't really have any other ones.
I can just talk like a Southern woman. I can talk like a Southern woman just pretty easily, you know. I like your brother Lee in the leather jackal shirt.
I've been trying to work on my Jeremy Clarkson a bit. You know, when you head over to Clarkson Island, you know, you encounter limitless Clarksons, you know.
Little Top Gear action.
There you go.
Limitless Clarksons.
Yeah, there's a whole bit online about that. You know, it's a funny YouTube video. Infinite Jeremy Clarksons on one island. It's great. They're all of the different iterations of Jeremy Clarkson that you could think of.
To check that out. But you, Colin, was I think you could develop that Donnie Fandago voice, because whenever you were when you said you text him and stuff and all, like, I just immediately pictured like that's exactly what he would sound like. So.
I probably could try a little bit, but I don't really. I love Donnie too much. I don't want to offend. You know, do I offend? But you know, he's a great dude.
Yeah, for sure. What's a song that always gets stuck in your head?
Ooh, lately,
The Star Wars Cantina theme.
yeah,
all the time. It's just it's always going.
Just on a loop.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate because that song is such a great loop too. You know, it just keeps going. The best way to cancel out a song in your head is just to end it, and if it never ends, then it just goes on forever.
Yeah.
What about you, Chris?
This week, I don't even remember who the artist is, but that it must have been love. What a song about.
That's Roxette.
That's right, Roxette.
Yep.
Thank you. But that's the only words that I know to the song.
So
that just repeats in my head.
I gotta give a shout out to Daniel C. Roth on this one because he just released this new song today that he recorded at Blue Lotus with Paul Niehaus and Ali Vogler called "Fly Solo Bird Fly." It's such an earworm. It's so great, very catchy melody, and you know I love the message of the song too. So. And Dan as well, in case that wasn't clear.
What song's been stuck in my head lately? There's you know what's been stuck in my head lately is and this is actually our walkout song when we play bigger shows. It's Face of an Angel. No, oh, that's Gown, Head Honcho. Head Honcho.
Little Hot Rod.
We will show us how to succeed. No, but the Speed Racer theme song, you know. Whoa, right? Here comes Speed Racer. He's a demon on wheels. He's a demon and he's gonna be chasing after someone.
It's catchy.
He's gaining on you, so you better look alive. He's busy revving up the powerful Mach 5, you know?
It's a good one.
You know,
Go, Speed Racer, go!
So those hopefully that'll help get stuck in your head too.
That one's been a big one a lot lately, just because
It's a good tune.
Once we decided to do that for our walkout tune, that's something that's recent that we started doing, and now it's just like I put it in one of our playlists that we all listen to, and it just pops up randomly.
Well, it's funny because Spotify does that like on repeat, where it's a playlist of like songs you've listened to a couple of times in a row. So I'll put that on when I'm in the car, then the Speed Racer theme will come on again, perpetually keeping it on my list of songs that have been played. So it's going to be one of Christopher's 2020 like top listens when Spotify does that list at the end of the year.
It probably will, because it's only a minute long too, so it's not even worth it to like go skip
Exactly,
it.
yeah. If I'm driving, I'm just going to let it ride.
It's just a nice little interlude, you know?
Well, that's kind of going back to you guys not sure if you're taking yourself serious at all, or and like where you kind of get stuck in that thing. Like, am I doing this ironically, or am I just now a fan?
Is it comic or ironic?
Yeah, and then like, I was listening to that Old Town Road a lot.
I love that song.
Yeah, well,
the horses in the back.
Have you heard the version on YouTube?
Riding on a horse.
All the words are replaced with horse. I got the horses in the horse. Horses in a horse.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my
horse.
The Old Town Horse.
Till I can't horse.
But that when I got my playlist for my biggest songs of 2019, it was the original and the remix were both on there, top two. So I was like,
That's just what happens when you just like you're sitting with your friends and you're like, guys, have you heard this yet?
Yeah.
And then you just bop it, and then it just keeps popping up, you know.
there's speaking of changing the words too. There's Kimmel does that every now and then. Or not Fallon, sorry, Jimmy Fallon. I remember he had him and he had Chris Stapleton on, and they dressed as ZZ Top, and they did legs, but like they just changed everything to like all about keep going on about legs and stuff. I'm like,
Oh yeah, one of my favorite instances of this idea ever was when I saw Mac DeMarco in Chicago a couple years ago, and he played the Vanessa Carlton song "1,000 Miles."
Oh my God.
But instead of like saying any of the lyrics, he's just like, making my way downtown, making my way downtown. It's just all make my way downtown. Just like it was all making my way, you know.
Would it
I
be-
just love it, you know.
We may or may not have attempted to open for that Vanessa Carlton show that is coming up in the spring here.
let's make that happen.
Right.
That would, let me tell you, if there's any show that would absolutely never happen, it's that one.
But Vanessa, if you want to make it happen,
Yeah, hey, if you're listening,
hit us
you
up.
know, I make my way
I heard
downtown
Kelly
every
Clarkson
single day.
came out with a new album this year too. So you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we might be a better fit with Kelly Clarkson, honestly.
I can get my chest waxed.
Kelly Clarkson.
I just realized I was trying to pull that up. That it's also Kevin Bacon.
She knows how to choose them. She's got arms. They're like legs, but on her upper half. She's got elbows. She scrubs them when she takes a bath. She's got hands. She knows how to weigh them.
So I do want to
awesome.
I do want to throw this in here.
Sucking on a chili dog.
I do
we're on that.
I do really want to throw this out here. Is ZZ Top's album Eliminator one of the coolest records that's ever come out?
Dude, I want to see them when they come to Riverport.
Like, I mean, is it one of the coolest records that's ever been released? Because I think it might be. Like, I mean,
dude, Billy Gibbons slays.
Yep.
you want to go? They're coming this summer.
I know. You want to do it?
Billy's the
Lawn
coolest.
seats, man.
Yeah, dude.
Right on.
We
What you got over there?
Sucking on a chili dog.
in real talk, I'm very excited about what's happening in St. Louis like this year because like so many huge tours are coming through town. Like for so many years we were getting skipped, man. Like everybody was
Yeah.
like you know those stories about like you know gear getting stolen and everything.
Yeah.
And all these
it makes its way up.
Yeah, and then like so people weren't. I felt like everybody was sitting in Kansas City or something, not St. Louis, and like so a lot of tours were going around us, and like but now this year we got you know Stones are coming to town.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, I gotta be real. I'm about ready to drop $500 on Friday when those tickets go on
Yeah.
sale.
It's
I'm
insane.
not
If it's
kidding.
got to happen, you know.
I'm not kidding.
I
Like,
still haven't seen them yet, so that's a must for me.
well, no,
Yeah.
and I told my fiance this because she's like, well, "Are you really gonna spend that kind of money on it?" I'm like, "You don't have to go with me. That's fine." But
Yeah.
I have to tell
Well,
you,
it's the
I don't
same
think I
deal.
can
It's like-
skip it. I
yeah,
don't. Like,
like-
I'm never gonna get another chance.
I
Like,
had to go see Dylan like this past year on this tour, which was
Yeah.
also great because his band was slamming. But yeah, it's like you gotta check them out. You know?
I just genuinely, you know, we have the Jesus Christ Super playlist on Spotify there, and it's I told you we can do it with everything. But I always make sure I throw a Stones song on there every time because I just love that band, and I just I know that they're not who they were even 20 years ago, but like I'm sorry, I can't skip this one. I have to go.
As they say,
It's gonna
still
be
rock and roll to
$500.
me.
Yeah,
That's right.
It's gonna be $500. Like the last year when they went on tour, it was $250 was the average price of a ticket. I mean, it's gonna cost me an arm and a leg, but I don't think I can skip it. You know, I skipped Tom Petty, and then he died 3 months later.
Yeah.
I can't do it again.
Yeah.
Like, that was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Like,
On the note of like St. Louis on the up and up, like I'd love to see that these like bigger venues are like popping up over here too. Like the one that's going to be in Midtown. Like
the Sovereign.
Over the Sovereign. Yeah. Like that's super exciting. Just to
and the St. Louis Music Park too. that they're doing,
exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
And there's even, I haven't really looked into too much like whatever is going on out in Chesterfield, but if they're making, performance venues out in Chesterfield as well, then, something's got to be going on.
they're turning one of those outlet malls into one. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, man, that's the story. I'm excited though, but it's cool. I mean, like, some people kind of get start ripping on it. They think like we don't need more music venues and everything. And I'm like, man, it's like,
well,
we got so many great bands, more opportunities to play, more people coming out to supporting live music and our city. And
I am a little conflicted about that, just because I do think that there is a level of, I think small rooms we have plenty of, and I think that like the thing that I like about the St. Louis Music Park coming in is like we don't have a room that's like 4,500 like that. Like we have the arena and Riverport, and those are like each 20 grand or 20,000 or whatever, and then you have the next size up, the Steeple's like 35, something like that. Like we don't have like these sort of steps up to those big areas and that kind of stuff. But I do think that we run into a situation where we're not a big enough. We are still effectively a tertiary music market. Like we are not even a secondary market. We are a third tier music market. That's not a bad thing at all. But you don't want people to start businesses and then them to die. And you want everybody to be able to support everybody. And so I have a little bit of conflicting ideas about like the number of venues we need in this city and that kind of thing. I think we're at a really good spot right now. I'm not saying that anybody, like, I mean, it's sad that Foam had to close. It is a bummer. And we played the Foam Fest last year that with all of that. Like I would have loved to see them stay open.
That's the thing with Foam. Like I felt like we don't have very many of those, like about 100 person venues and stuff.
Yeah.
Like we have like off Broadway's like 300 and stuff like that. So you have a couple that size, but we don't really have anything. Even duck rooms.
I think it's all about balance. I think when properly balanced.
This is what I was trying to get at.
When properly balanced, having a lot of venues can be awesome.
Right.
You just don't want to oversaturate one end of the market.
No, you don't.
But that's what's also nice about St. Louis is it's so spread out anyway. Like you were saying, Chesterfield and everything else. We have so much of the county and everybody else too. So.
I would love to see like something open up around like Maplewood or something like that. I mean, like something that's a little bit, I don't know. Even in like, for those of you listening at home, we're recording this in Southampton at my apartment right now, but it's even something in this part of town could be cool. I mean, but I guess Cherokee's not too far, and
I think of things like Pop's Blue Moon. That's a great spot for just some I mean, it's a smaller venue for sure, but just,
always a good time.
Just spots like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. Well, I just think it's very exciting as a music fan and just a fan of St. Louis in general. That what we have going on this year. There's a lot of exciting things happening.
Yeah, so. I love it right now because I think a big thing for me is that. Great example, like White Reaper and the Dirty Nil came through back in October. Man, I got to see that tour. Like, I was stoked. I didn't expect them to announce the St. Louis date. And granted, it was supposed to be at the Firebird. Rest in peace. But, it got moved over to Pops, and that was fine. But the only reason I say that was fine is because I had to drive across the river. I didn't want to do that. But Pops is a great place. But we... I just, I love that we get these tours. Even the smaller tours. I know you were kind of talking about some of the bigger shows like the Stones and that. But, I mean, what's cool about St. Louis is that we have the rooms. Like, when I was in New Orleans, like, a lot of the rooms are either really small or they don't do rock shows. And so a lot of these bands, unless they unless they can't sell out a 200 cap room, they're not really, or they only are playing like 200 cap rooms. They're not really coming through New Orleans until they can sell 700 or 800 tickets or 1,000, and that's a big leap. Like that's not, we're lucky we have places like the Duck Room, and we have places like off Broadway and stuff. We have these mid-tier venues, and I both of those rooms I love. We love playing at both of those places. So, and then we have the Ready Room, which is great. I can't wait to play there again. We love that room.
True.
So,
Well, come on again, February 27th, Schlafly Tap Room, March 27th with Montreal at the Ready Room, and the big EP release party happening May 16th at Alpha Brewing Company.
Be there.
So, yeah, get involved online again, like I said, and come on out to these shows. But I really appreciate you guys taking some time to hang and talk. Man, like I said, I'm pumped up for this new EP. Hear what you guys.
Thanks for having us. We're
Thanks
really
so much
excited
for
to
having us on
finally
there.
be on the show.
yeah,
That's good.
we've been trying to set this up for a while, and it's been a really great time. I'm stoked to be able to just hang out here and talk to you about all this stuff.
man.
So, even if maybe I was talking more to my guys a little bit more, unfortunately. Not on purpose. I think we just kind of roll off each other a lot.
Well, I think we accomplished quite a bit. We got we're going to have some new trading cards coming. And stuff.
I love it so much.
I think those should be our
Larry
download
David
cards.
is going to be looking after, like whatever contract he can make for me. It's like we got some good things in the works over
Yeah,
here.
man.
I'm liking it. I'm liking it.
But yeah, very cool, guys. I thank you again, and we'll see you soon.
Rock and roll, dude. Rock, paper, podcast.
Yeah.
And roll.
Goodbye in the accent that I started this interview with. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thanks, everybody.
Should I actually do the squeaky voice?
No.
Oh, man. Okay. Thanks again for having us, Shane.
Thanks, guys.
Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast.
Well, yeah, that was it.